Welcome to the 164th episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. It's November 7th, and we got a very special Gentlemen's Club episode.
It's the original lineup.
Finally, a podcast by men for men.
No one can see it, but we're actually wearing our 2020 throwback jerseys or throwback, Chronicle shirts tonight.
Yeah, my throwback flannel shirt from back then, and your throwback Eastern hat from 2020.
No, I have many Eastern hats. They're just all the exact same hat. When Heather buys them for me, she'll get 4 or 5 at a time. So
You're like the Steve Jobs of land-grant universities.
that's pretty cold.
Anyway.
But true and fair.
Isabel and Jared are... do we want to do a spoiler for people?
I think everyone knows they had their wedding over the weekend, the 2 other hosts. So I was there.
I was not.
It was the Catalina wine mixer of Lewis County events. I'll tell you that much. And, just because you didn't get an invite, Aaron, I don't think you should take that personally. I think you should just work harder to improve your station in life.
That my parents were invited and I could not make it. Yeah,
I did get to meet Steve VanTuyl there, and that was a pleasure.
I'm sure it was. We are joined in spirit, however, by sponsors Summit Funding and the Roof Doctor. And we didn't introduce ourselves. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined by Chronicle Editor-in-Chief Eric Schwartz. If you've listened to this podcast, if for some reason this is your first time ever listening, I apologize. It's usually a little tighter than this, but what are you going to do? Preambles before we get into news. Veterans Day is coming this weekend.
It is, on Saturday.
Yeah.
That means everyone's getting their Saturday edition a day early. You're going to get it on Friday. Try not to freak out.
For the troops.
Mm-hmm, for the troops.
Uh-huh. Especially the troops.
Yeah.
They actually get theirs on Thursday is what I've been told.
I don't know about that. I mean, I can pull an e-edition maybe.
Why do you hate the troops? Give it to them Thursday, you coward.
Cold.
There's free golf at New Wacom for veterans on Saturday. They're also giving out free club rentals if you don't have any clubs and you're a veteran and you want to go play.
As popular as that post was on Facebook, I feel like it's incumbent on me to restate that you should call if you're a veteran and get a reservation.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't just show up and be like, I'm a veteran. You might not be able to golf, is all I'm saying.
The Veterans Memorial Museum in Chehalis has a bunch of stuff going on Saturday, and the Military Museum in Centralia is open on Saturday.
I think it's actually open on Friday, the America's Team Museum. Let me open up the link here. I actually read our news, Aaron.
I did not.
On Friday, it's going to be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's on North Tower Avenue, America's Team Museum, and admission is going to be free.
All right. Any other preambles you want to get into?
It's election night tonight.
Oh, yeah. You were thrilled. You were just telling me how excited you were because you love democracy.
I do. I love staying up late on a Tuesday night and just writing about local city councils, school boards. It's really what fuels me.
Is there any race in particular that really stands out that you think is going to get a lot of attention? Or
I don't know about that. I think the most important races are you have Diane Doria and Peter Lamont in the Port of Centralia Commission race. Mm-hmm. That one's got a lot of interest, I think. Centralia City Council Mayor Kelly Smith Johnson versus twice former City Councilor Joyce Barnes. That one's interesting. Mm-hmm. 911 tax. There's that one.
There is that one.
As well. We'll see if Lewis County votes to tax itself, which is something I never thought would happen. But, I never thought Centralia would pass a school bond either years ago, and that happened. Yeah. So it's always possible.
Why are we voting to give the county money for a 911, like the communication center? This is not a new thing, right?
I know you're opposed to it.
My question is just like we had, 15 or 30 million in American Rescue Plan dollars?
I can see that argument for sure.
And so where did those go?
We've had plenty of coverage on it.
How many raises
go to cronline.com and check it out. You're going to work the sheriff's office into this. I know it.
They're coming up in the next item.
I figured. Yeah. So those are some of the main races. We're all interested to see how Wayne Fournier does in Thurston County Commissioner race.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Finally asking the question, is Thurston County hornier for Fournier or not?
You've been waiting that for a while. I won't use that headline. It's a family newspaper.
News items. First up, Senator John Braun calls for additional investigation into Green Hills School in Chehalis. This is after JNet did their search warrant and found a bunch of drugs, some of which had been there in lockers and whatnot since 2017. Evidence lockers, correct?
I believe so. The pictures just look like regular lockers. I guess if it's evidence in the locker, they would become an evidence locker.
Braun said the search warrant, quote, against the state agency to seize contraband illegally in its possession, end quote, raised the suspicion that, quote, the school's officials are obstructing justice to hide something. The Attorney General's office declined a further investigation, saying the school had updated its policies. And the governor's office said they've put in stronger measures to prevent this and basically said that JNet could have just asked to go take a look, bro. The search warrant felt a little aggressive, bro. The vibe was in shambles.
Is this all Inslee? Are these direct quotes?
Yeah, that's a hell of a statement they released. Very chill. No, of course not. Braun's statement, however, also says the Lewis County Sheriff can investigate Green Hill whenever it wants, and he'll support it. And from his statement, the governor's dismissive comment that this is all the result of miscommunication shows a continuing lack of accountability on his part for the agencies he oversees. Now, this is where I bump on Braun's letter a little bit. Asking for an investigation into Green Hill, that's good. I think that's a great plan, and I think you would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But your solution to mishandling evidence and a lack of accountability is to put the Lewis County Sheriff on it? Buddy, they weren't even invited to the raid, and you can practically see Green Hill from their window.
It was the Centralia and Chehalis police chiefs and members of JNet that went in with the warrant. You are correct.
You think the sheriff is going to do something about kid jail when they can't even put people in real jail? Come on. This is like writing a letter to the governor demanding a push for men in their 40s to lead healthier lifestyles and saying you're putting Pete Castor in charge. What are we doing here?
That's harsh to Pete Castor. Most people won't even know who that is, and you're still going to get a dig on him like that? I want to defend Pete Castor here. I think he's in great shape for a man in his 40s. Looks great. You look great, Pete.
He looks great for a man in his 40s, it's true. Anyway, yeah, I think
Braun was just citing the state law. I think it was RCW that explicitly stated that the sheriff can do that anytime they want. Obviously, the Chehalis Police Department can do that anytime they want as well, because they did. My question is why. We had a follow-up today since this story that you have cited here from Mitch Rowland, headlined after Braun calls for investigation at Green Hill. Inslee spokesperson says state will, quote, continue to take allegations seriously, which is a pretty soft headline. There was some more shots in there that were, the senator is welcome and encouraged to learn more about the policies and procedures for handling contraband at youth correction facilities in Washington and around the country. The spokesman said, lots of passive aggression.
This is the spokesman for the governor, not the paper in Spokane.
Another quote, spokesman for the governor. Given the regular communications between Green Hill School and JNet, the interestingly timed sensationalizing of one incident by a local police chief about issues assessing evidence is unfortunate. I found the quotes like a bit disingenuous because, they were smuggling fentanyl into Green Hill disguised as Skittles. There was an overdose. An inmate almost died. Mm-hmm. There's been several incidents, and the police chiefs included all that in their letter asking for an investigation. Mm-hmm. And we're told no, and then they go in there and they find fentanyl and all this stuff just crammed into lockers, just hanging out there. Like, it does seem like the state is not taking this seriously. Like, to me.
The fentanyl was off the streets.
It was off the streets, I suppose.
You got to hand it to them.
But, it just seems like there's enough there to warrant an investigation. Like, I'm not taking a hard stance or anything. It's just like, why not? Take a look.
Yeah,
like
I
at the
agree.
school, you had these things happen.
Yeah, I agree with Braun's sentiment that, hey, maybe we should do something about this. The details at the end were like, come on, man.
I know. I knew as soon as the sheriff was entered, you'd have a problem with it. But, yeah. It seems like there should be some deeper investigation than, we changed our protocols a little bit. Everything's fine now.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell even going, as he was reporting the story, like just kind of searched on Cronline for Green Hill School. And if you do that, and it's justifiably so, it's a juvenile detention center, but you're going to find riots, drugs, staffers sleeping with students or inmates, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So why not take a closer look? Just seems like it makes sense.
Next up, seeking new royalty, applications for Miss Lewis County and Miss Teen Lewis County are now open. All women and girls in Lewis County between the ages of 13 and 28 can apply. Between now and December 10th, Maya O'Neill is the current Miss Lewis County. Do we have a Miss Teen Lewis County?
Yeah, it's brand new.
Oh.
It was just unveiled. I believe we discussed it on this very podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've done a lot of
episodes. This is the first year of it, so it's the inaugural one.
Okay. This is a local chapter of the Miss America program. Contestants in both divisions are judged on pre-badged interviews, on-stage questions, the red carpet portion, and a talent show. My question for you, what Lewis County-specific talent would you like to see? I've got a few suggestions here, but do you have anything to throw out?
Go ahead and go through yours.
Skinning a deer, lighting a bonfire, changing a 35-inch mud tire, maybe a 44 if you're really, bar fighting.
That's
or
a good one.
maybe some real-world marketable skills like milk a cow or drive a semi or be a lawyer, make some coffee, install a new toilet or roof. Or write a news article or something cool that teenagers and most of our elected officials can't do on their own.
No, I think all those are great. Maybe like traversing floodwaters. That could be a thing.
Are you going to enter? Is this where you're going to once again talk about your
I'm
flood
not
legs?
eligible. I'm too old.
You're too old. Speaking of installing a new toilet or roof, specifically a roof, is there anybody you'd like to mention here?
I mean, there's only one company I would trust with my roof, and that's the Roof Doctor.
Family-owned company since 1959. They've been serving Lewis County for generations. And if you would like a new roof or maybe just some work done to your existing roof, maybe even some emergency repairs, and all with a free estimate so you know what you're going to pay before you pay it, you can give our friends at the Roof Doctor a call, 360-736-0246, or visit them online, 360, wait, no, that's a phone number I was trying to do there.
Yeah, do both.
www.theroofdoctor.com.
I mean, the free estimate really gets it. It's like you might not even know there's something. Your roof could be plotting against you, and you have to free. You just call them and be like, hey, check out my roof. Make sure it's not making designs on me.
Yeah, they're like, we regret to inform you your roof voted for the Green Party last election, and it has some takes.
It's going to need a full replacement.
Next up, Centralia police say gel-style pellets shot at people waiting to enter Salvation Army shelter. There was online rumors of a drive-by outside the shelter on Gold Street. Was it Saturday night, Sunday night? Sunday night. Centralia police put out a statement to calm the hype around it, which is basically, no, we did not have a drive-by shooting. Calm down. From the statement, the investigation revealed that an adult male drove the vehicle while a juvenile male used a toy gun, which shoots gel-style pellets.
I believe they're called Orbeez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To shoot at bystanders waiting for the shelter to open, the department stated. My question, was this a father-son activity?
It could have been, or you could have been looking like a 19-year-old, 17-year-old situation, you know?
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe the crazy uncle.
Yeah, could be. I don't think it's very cool, though. I mean, people are already down on their luck having to find a shelter, and you're going to drive by and harass them?
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do.
I don't think it's cool.
I hope the police at least confiscated the kid's toy gun and, maybe threw it away while he watched.
And I love social media. Social media is fine. It does allow for this type of thing where one person posts in all caps, there's been a drive-by shooting at the Salvation Army, and then everybody just assumes there's been a drive-by shooting at the Salvation Army. So I get the probable frustration from the Centralia Police Department having to field all the questions about that. And I appreciated them putting out a statement because the Salvation Army the night before put out a statement that was like basically something very concerning happened tonight and we're glad everyone's okay. And so,
well, that's just kind of
I know, but you see that
fires.
if you're on Facebook and you see that, and then you also see the other one that says there's a drive-by shooting, you just assume there was a drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
So,
but it was good of the police to get a statement out.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, this
wait for a confirmed report before shouting drive-by in a crowded theater, right?
Check with your local newspaper.
Check with your local newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they're on the ball.
Billy Jim on Facebook, who.
I don't want to take away from those people either. We hear about a lot of crime and stories from just regular Joe on Facebook.
Yeah, and you get a ton of criticism from those people.
You do. You just have to take it. So,
next item, cautious optimism as Senate passes $4 million in funding for United Learning Center project in Centralia.
They're coming for our parking lot again.
I thought Jeff Bezos was building this.
No, it's Jeff Bezos is going to have a school inside the United Learning Center. It's a massive thing. You see the pictures of it? It's going to be this whole parking lot
looks
over
like the
here.
Weyerhaeuser building next door.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, are they just moving into the Weyerhaeuser building?
It doesn't look like that at all. It's massive.
It's the same thing.
It's got like a gym. You didn't look at it well enough.
I looked at the artist rendition.
You saw just the store, like the street view.
Yeah.
You got to look at the view that they had in there from the city hall, from like looking down on it. And it's big.
Do they have
formidable?
Police, do they have RoboCop out in front of it too?
Not yet, but I hope that they roll it out there pretty soon.
Yeah.
Park's been looking pretty good lately.
Bezos like, hey, let me build this thing and let me use it, guys. It's like a billionaire asking to build a new stadium. Like, come on, man, you got money.
No, it's not that. It's that the project was already in the works, and he signed in a partnership, basically, that he's going to be there. Look at this. Here's the picture. You got a big building back there. You see all this?
It looks like an AI drawing of a toolbox.
It is an AI. I'm sure it's an AI drawing. I was zooming in on it. The details are pretty funny. If you like, like the people walking in, and there's like, I don't know, someone looks like they're having a seizure at one point, but they're a lot better than 20 years ago. We were getting the hand drawn drawings.
Yeah, those were cool. They were art.
They were. This is fine. This is
Not
also
real art.
fine.
I'd rather have art than robot art. If you're gonna pitch me a fake building, that's never gonna happen.
I don't know. The interesting thing, at least in talking with Mitchell, who wrote this story, is just that the groundbreaking was in 2021 for this thing, and
any day now.
Project manager Todd Chappitt called it a false start, which I thought was a good way of doing it. But they have a lot of funding in hand. There's $3 million from the Department of Commerce, $1 million from the Department of Commerce directed towards the Discover Children's Museum, $1.9 million from the City of Centralia's real estate excise tax, $1 million.
Do you know how many RoboCops you could buy with that?
$1 million from the TransAlta Coal Transition Board, a.k.a. Old Man TransAlta.
Well, I changed my tune.
Out his pocketbook. And then this $4 million. I was confident until you get to the point of the story where it's like, this now goes to the U.S. House.
Oh, good things happening there.
I don't know if that's going to make it through.
As soon as the building sends the speaker a report on what kind of porn it's watched lately, we will have our funding.
I'm not going to be critical of the speaker.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm a local newsman. Bring these national takes at me.
All right. Fine. Next up. Oh, you added this one. A lot of bullet points here. Good work.
Oh, no, it was just a copy and paste of the first 5 graphs of the story.
Nutria carcasses left on Tenino football field before rivalry game with Rochester. This was before their game on October 27th. It
seems old because it was the day after our last podcast that we published this.
On the morning of the Scatter Creek Showdown game, staff at Tenino discovered the carcasses of 2 dead nutria on the football field. Nutria are like... kind of between a rat and a beaver,
yeah,
right?
They're like beavers with rat tails. The WDFW biologist always describes it to us like they evolved for the same thing in slightly different places.
Okay.
Not slightly different, just different.
Tenino athletic director Nick Bamer, who is a former guest of Sports Dump, said, for all intents and purposes, they were essentially dead beavers on the field. The large painted rock in front of the high school was also covered in Rochester colors by Friday morning. Bamer said, furthering suspicion that the nutria were left as a, quote, rivalry thing between Rochester and Tenino that's probably gone over the line. Spokesperson for Fish and Wildlife said that due to the nutria's status as an invasive burrowing pest, the department doesn't manage trapping or hunting, but it does recommend euthanizing the creatures.
I like that was their response. Like I think they knew the context. Maybe I'm wrong that there was 2 dead nutrias, and it's kind of like, damn right. Only good nutria is a dead nutria.
The department's website says shooting has been an effective method in eliminating small, isolated groups of nutria. It's usually an effective method of eliminating most things.
I was going to say just about anything could be eliminated that way.
Have they gone too far?
You know what? I like this type of thing. I like the high school rivalries, the hijinks,
hillbilly
class versus class, seniors versus juniors, that kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's fun.
Where do you draw the line? What dead animal is like a dog?
They did the job of WDFW in this. So, and if they did a dog is too far, my friend.
Okay. Cat?
You shouldn't even say that. No, cat's not cool.
Hamster?
No.
Deer?
No. Just a nutria.
Cow?
Anything else would be a waste. You're not going to eat.
Being?
You're not going to eat a nutria.
Just leave a dead body on the field?
See, I would even be offended if it was like raccoons. Like, well, why'd you kill the raccoons for? You didn't need to do that. But nutria are invasive.
Do you think they killed the nutria or found dead nutria?
I don't think that they stumbled upon dead nutria and was just like, Kyle, my gosh, this looks a lot like a beaver. We should go throw it on their field.
What convenient time it is. We play their football team tomorrow.
Exactly. No, I think they definitely killed them. It doesn't say how they killed them because I guess maintenance staff disposed of the bodies before there was any sort of official recollection. I just appreciate Bamer, the athletic director, talking to us about it.
Yeah.
And also, it didn't seem like he took it too personally. He saw it for what it was. I think it could have been easy to blow up on a situation like this and really freak out and be like, they murdered these animals. But
I mean, that's not Bamer's style. He's kind of a bro.
I don't know. It's like I guess the only other animal that I'd be okay with this type of thing is a rat. I know it's not a popular mascot, but if you threw a couple of rats on the field, I don't care about that. It's a pest. Also, nutria,
Coyote?
as Isabel noted previously on this podcast, they burrow into like flood levees, dikes. Yeah, make them less safe. Real enemy of the floodplain. So kudos to Rochester for thinning the herd. Rochester also won that game, right?
I believe so, yeah.
You think they were powered by the nutria blood on the field?
Probably. The thing is, the blood wouldn't even like absorb into the field. It's a turf field.
It's true.
I mean, throw it on the grass, fellas. Come on. Respect the turf. Or don't. I guess that was the point. Anything else before we go to break? Anything in today's paper?
There's clam diggings that were approved. I know everybody's always a big fan of that. You can read about that at cronline.com. There's actually a bunch of new stuff on Cronline today. I had a newsy day.
All right. We'll be back with some other stuff.
Hi, this is Jeff and Julie from Fairway Lanes.
Jeff and I met JSIC of Summit Funding at our bowling center, so when we fell in love with this community and it was time to relocate, we knew we would be calling Summit Funding.
They understand that everyone has a unique situation when buying a home.
He had already helped 2 of our employees get into their own homes. The Summit Funding team exceeded our expectations. It was a seamless experience with great communication from his whole team.
Thank you to Summit Funding for making our buying experience special and memorable.
All right, we're back. Time for segments. First up, Tales from the Takes page. I haven't checked the opinion page, but I know somebody who has.
I'd say one of the more popular pieces this week is, and this comes as no surprise, a Brian Mitke joint. And it's titled The Scam That Almost Got Me. And a lot of people enjoyed that, and they thought it was very helpful. He's just detailing a Facebook scam. Basically, a woman said she was moving and she's got to sell all this stuff, and the prices were super cheap, and it turned out her account had been taken over, and that she, in fact, was not going to sell him a new mower or vehicle. I liked one part of it. He wrote, "What surprised me most about this scam is that this offer had so activated my emotions that for several weeks I found myself idly regretting that I didn't get the deal on the car or the trailer. I was mourning the life I'd already imagined with the stuff that never actually existed. These scams take advantage of our natural desires. They weaponize our greed." It was just a solid Mitke column, and it was a really helpful one, too.
Yeah, it does. It looked really good. I like that.
And I think some people that were born in the social media age and the internet age can spot things like this pretty quickly. Brian's one of those people, and it almost got him. So it should give anyone pause who's feeling overly confident on the internet.
Anything else notable on there? Again, I haven't looked. Do we have any killer letters or?
Julie McDonald had a good column. We talked about Doris Wood Brumsicle last week, but she actually attended Doris Wood Brumsicle Day at Centralia College last Wednesday, and wrote a lot about her. And we have some commentary from the Association of Washington Business Director Chris Johnson about lawsuits that have come over the state's law that require you to include a salary when you post a job. And how maybe they should have thought that out a little bit better.
I don't know. I like that law.
It actually seems like a good law. I think his stance is just that they could have taken a little more time to deal with the nuances, but I don't think that's ever how the legislature works. It's either they force something out or they don't.
They're very much like...
we'll fix it later.
We'll fix it in post, yeah, exactly. There'll be an amended bill or a substitute bill or whatever. I don't know how bills work. I guess I should, but...
Other than that, we got a lot of election letters, obviously, that will be mostly irrelevant after tonight. And yeah, there's some other good stuff. We had our latest agricultural commentary from Maureen Harcum of the Lewis County Farm Bureau. I haven't adopted any of your name proposals yet, though I should.
The Alfalfa Files, it's great.
You can join the Farm Bureau, and you don't even have to be a farmer. So maybe consider it, Aaron.
I will. I won't. Letter to the editor. Shayla's Fire Department should reassure residents on billing. Damn straight. Although I guess they kind of did.
They did. And yeah. That's the shortest letter of all time. I think it's 2 sentences.
Good.
I think the
letter
headline.
To the editor, vote for Chris Brewer for Centralia City Council. He has some interesting ideas, and I enjoy them.
Former Chronicle reporter. People forget that.
Sirens Banger of the Week. We don't really have one, do we?
No.
Some of the crime is pretty dark.
Yeah, we had some dark crime. There was probably the most read story crime-wise this week is we had the Centralia rape suspect arrested 17 years after the rape kit was submitted to the state crime laboratory. And this came the same week that the state attorney general's office announced that they had cleared the backlog finally.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. Not weird, but interesting that we get this story right away. But yeah, it was a rape in Centralia. I mean, when they showed the woman a photo, she basically responded, I don't know, that was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Which, fair. I'm thinking 17 years ago. I was like, I was like 19. So, anyways, that was kind of messed up crime. Definitely not good for that segment, but worth the read if you want to check it out at Cronline.
People's Champion of the Week. We've got 4 nominees.
I think I put one on there before I realized that we had already discussed it, which is the Newaukum Golf Course offering free rounds, and so I will take that one off. No offense, Newaukum Golf Course.
Former Lewis County resident posthumously inducted into the 4-H Hall of Fame. This is Linda Schultz, a WF West High School grad, and she received the honor during a October 28th ceremony. She is the 212th 4-H member to enter the Hall since its creation in 2002.
Are you in?
In the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I'm not. I was not a 4-H kid.
Oh, I thought you were for some reason.
My brother was.
That's right. We just talked about that too.
I was a Boy Scout.
Eagle Scout.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't
People forget that.
I don't believe it.
Centralia College graduate publishes book based on family history. If a book were published on your family history, what would the title be?
I don't know.
4 Wheels and a Dream?
Yeah, something.
The story of our home?
The Schwartz be with you. I don't know.
That was a rude dig. Sorry.
It's fine.
This is 2022 Centralia College graduate Jared Kuykendall, who aims to inspire readers to appreciate their own family stories. His book is called Music Comes in Springtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks good. Pretty cool.
And I had Warren McLeod for this last one.
Oh, your boy.
He has arranged for the unclaimed remains of 4 veterans to be buried at, let's see, sorry, pulling up the story here. At the Tahoma National Cemetery in Kent. It's going to happen this Friday, timed with Veterans Day. He does a separate event, or I should say the coroner's office does a separate event where they do the unclaimed remains. I thought this was a nice addition to that movement of trying to make sure everyone gets a dignified burial. In being able to include the names of the 4 veterans, which was Frederick Clough, Robert Larson, Michael Damas, and Russell Welk. And so they're going to have that ceremony on Friday. And they encourage people to come out and attend if they want to. It's at 8 a.m., November 10th. If you want to learn more, read the story at cronline.com.
And Villain of the Week is former soldier and Lewis County resident who lied about paralysis and faces prison for nearly $700,000 in disability fraud.
Yeah, and this is a former Morton and Mineral guy. This was a reader tip. Somebody submitted the Stars and Stripes story to us. That's the story that is linked here. And I just made some additions about the Lewis County facts. But it made me really wonder what to do with past coverage. We had a couple of former news reports that included the story of Kevin McMains, 43. He was arrested in Florida, so it wasn't here. Not arrested. He was charged in Florida and pled guilty there. But we talked to him in 2011, and he gave the same account that Stars and Stripes now says is false as far as, being struck in 2007 in Iraq and suffering a spinal cord injury and severe post-traumatic stress disorder, which they say both of those things are not true. So I guess my solution is going to be to just paste this story as a link at the top of the stories and past coverage.
I read this and recognized the name. He used to be a frequent Twitter commenter.
Oh, really?
Joked back and forth a few times, and then, not too long after the 2016 election, his takes got a little too crazy, and we didn't interact much anymore.
You mean you disagreed with him politically?
Call it what you want to call it. But, interesting stuff.
So he faces up to 20 years in prison. That's a long time.
Wow. So was he not actually paralyzed?
That's what the Stars and Stripes account says, is that he wasn't. So,
Okay.
and I found the news release from the Department of Justice too, and it pretty much has the same information. I don't know if it's nuanced at all, like maybe he could move or whatever, but I don't think you plead guilty to these kinds of charges unless you just faked it, is what one would assume.
You would, yeah. Okay.
And that's pretty much what's laid out.
Facebook comments of the week.
Oh boy, you found the time for those, huh?
You know what? Yeah, I was bored this morning. On the Miss Lewis County auditions opening up, applications, not auditions. This commenter says, "Thank goodness it's for women and girls. If it were King County, they'd only allow men, preferably men over 300 pounds with beards."
Oh, I mean, come on.
And I regret to inform this commenter that Miss King County is, in fact, not a 300-pound man with a beard. She is very real.
You have linked her here, and I agree.
Yes.
Not a 300-pound man.
Definitely not a 300-pound man.
Beard.
No beard. Blonde hair. That's enough. That's all we're going to get into on that. On a hunting photo of a kid with a deer, this commenter says, "That poor animal," and then in parentheses, "just wanted to see what it felt like being a Karen. Sorry. Great kill, kid." Good bit.
I don't, as we say every week, I don't blame the people that don't like to see it. I hear you too, but I hear from a lot more people that really enjoy seeing what they do reflected in coverage.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with them. Again, it's like, kill the animal with your hands, and then we'll put it on the front page. You'll put it on the front page.
I'd have never put one on the front page. The last complaint I got was like, not all of us hunt, and I was just like, yeah, not all of us played high school football. Not all of us care about city government. Like, not all of us do this. Like, I'm trying to give you a cross section here, and if you just pretend hunting doesn't exist, you're not really giving a proper cross section of life in Lewis County.
On the not really a drive-by shooting outside the shelter story, this comment had quite a bit of a long rant to start off with, but then it gets into how much is enough already. Anybody remember the movie Walking Tall? Carry a big stick and use it. Make it know they are not welcome here to continue to degrade society with their filth, crime, and drugs. To which I say, the film Walking Tall stars The Rock as a guy fed up with the corrupt, abusive local sheriff who then runs for sheriff and fights organized crime as sheriff. But this commenter's takeaway from the movie was big stick good. Go watch the movie again. What are you talking about?
I mean, the only thing I'm offended by is that you think Walking Tall stars The Rock. I mean, I know the remake did, but the original Walking Tall is an, I believe, 1970s film.
It's a 70. It's, based on a guy from Tennessee, Buford. Something.
A much better film, many would say.
Sure, but
tragic, but better.
The remake was set in Washington.
Yeah, I recall that. You think I miss a Rock joint?
And Johnny Knoxville? Good movie.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that movie. I enjoyed both of those movies. My takeaway though was like, they were just chilling out, trying to get into the shelter.
Yeah, they're trying to do what you want them to do, which is
you didn't want them to sleep on the streets, so they're trying to go to the shelter and somebody's like pointing what looks like a gun out the window and shooting at them, and they're the problem? Come on.
And then all the comments on this ad on the Chronicle Facebook page for a new storage center. One of them says, "Be kind of weird walking in, seeing everything in there now and not be thinking of Sears," which is like walking into a bar you used to go to with like your ex-wife and she's not there and you're alone because she's divorced you and you're like, kind of weird walking in here, not seeing Charlene.
I mean, I didn't get to see the Lewis County Mall in its heyday, so I don't know. You know, there's nostalgia there, right?
It was people a Sears.
I mean, there was a Sears. It used to be a nice mall at some point.
And then the other commenters are just up and just complaining and just bitter about a storage center. Like, what was there before? Nothing. It couldn't sustain a Sears. That's why there's nothing there. Calm down.
There's no space left there anymore, according to a good friend of the podcast and newspaper, Daryl Lund, who is operating Minuteman Press out of that location now.
There you go.
So with that in the storage unit, there's an outdoor store in there, I believe, as well, and some other shops and things.
Movie theater?
Full. Yeah. It might be a new heyday for the Lewis County Mall.
This commenter, just wait till it floods and nobody can get their stuff. They're going to love that.
But their stuff's high and dry.
Yeah, their stuff's in storage.
That's a good thing.
Why the heck do we need another storage? If we didn't need another storage, they wouldn't have built one.
Supply and demand.
And then this The days when we had hometown-friendly storage facilities owned by local people, it's over. I was associated with one for 17 years. After it was sold, my unit had 3 large increases in a year. Flintstone mini storage is gone. And then it keeps going. It's just like, I miss the day you had a friendly local storage unit renting you space to house your things. It's not a...
Well, you didn't have as good a storage unit as that guy.
I've never needed one.
I got one after my freshman year at Centralia College. You know how many months I paid the rental fee?
One?
None.
And all of your things were auctioned?
I lost all my things, yeah.
I want to see the storage unit auction maven that bought your sight unseen storage unit and came away with like a scratched
oh, no, I can remember
CD,
a lot of... Yeah, there's definitely that.
A broken waterbed.
There was a stuffed, like a mounted piranha that
2
I
empty
had.
bottles of Cabana Boy.
I miss. Oh man, there was a rug from like Spain in there that I got from my dad. There was probably like, if it was Storage Wars, they would have been happy at about $50, maybe $100. My waterbed was in there. I don't know. I just made a calculated decision that summer of my freshman year where I was just like, you know what? I'll just get new stuff. It's fine, and then I won't have to pay for the old stuff.
Probably better off.
I think so.
Also, like I guess I live by the philosophy that if you have so much stuff that you need a storage unit. You don't need a storage unit. You just need to get rid of some of your shit.
You know how I feel about things.
Yeah. You're against them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what else is in the next paper? You were just telling me about all the stories you have written and content you have produced with your star reporters off on honeymoon.
There's lots of stuff. We still got Emily Fitzgerald, Mitchell Rowland, and Owen Sexton down there in the news mine, just bringing out morsels of local journalism. Just during the time of this podcast, it looks like Emily's filed some crime stories, some road rage. As I mentioned, we've got some razor clam digs coming up. There's the story on Governor Inslee's response to Braun's comments regarding an investigation at Green Hill. There's all sorts of good stuff.
Okay.
There's also new baby bison at Northwest Trek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
You can't read about that anywhere but at, chronline.com, or if you go to the Northwest Trek website where I pulled the content from.
Or if you just go to Northwest Trek.
Or if you go there, yeah.
Can you pet them?
No, they're in the free range area currently, but you can go to the Northwest Trek website and check them out. I like to include their animal news.
Yeah, that's a cool spot out there. In closing, we're sponsored by Summit Funding and The Roof Doctor. Leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast if you want. It will make Schwartz's day. Thank you for listening.